Now, with your career path and leading to you recently being named president here in the NBA league offices, what was critical in some of the steps that you had to take personally?
Well, I think honestly what was most critical was playing basketball at a young age. I think that the values that you learn playing basketball, teamwork, dedication, hard work, the ability to get along with people, certainly set the foundation for me. And so I always go back to the fact that I both loved the game but learned a lot from the game as well.
Here in the NBA offices, report comes out that with over 40% of the workforce here is women. And just as you look at the league as a whole, whether it's in the main league offices or when you go down to your teams and you look at their executive level and front offices, what does it say about the way the league goes about their hires now?
Well, I think it's something that we have always taken great pride in and almost has just happened without sort of any kind of specific program, but it's just something that has really been a part of the history of the NBA, both as it relates to gender and race. Our focus on diversity, inclusion, respect, creating opportunities for everybody, where talent wins out more than anything else is the most important thing. And that's really been the history of our league. I think on the court and certainly in the offices, on the sidelines, on the court with referees, every opportunity is available for people of all sexes and all backgrounds, and that's what's so exciting.
When you compare the NBA to other corporations or even other professional sports league, why do you think the NBA has been that league that's on the forefront of really empowering women and even specifically empowering women in these leadership positions?
I think part of it is the nature of the game of basketball. It's easy to play. It's a game that boys and girls play, men and women play. I think that makes a real big difference. You know, certainly we've seen that with Becky Hammon. She's just a great basketball mind. Whether she's teaching men or women, she's got something to offer. So I think it's really the nature of the game of basketball. And certainly the way our business has grown and developed, I think we've tried to really model that's kind of what our culture is. And so that opportunity that we've offered to people, again, regardless of background, regardless of gender, regardless of race, frankly, regardless of whether or not you're born in the United States or born elsewhere, is something that we have really taken to heart, and it's really a part of our culture and our DNA.
What was your initial reaction when Becky Hammon was announced as an assistant coach with the Spurs?
I was thrilled for her and thrilled for the Spurs. I think she is a terrific basketball coach. She certainly has been a great player. She's someone that we've done a lot of work with over the years. She's very community-minded, but really knows the game. I think has great relationship abilities, and so she's going to make a big difference for them. And I think hopefully she'll be the first of many.
What does your promotion mean to you when you take into perspective just the significance of being among the highest ranking female executives in professional sports?
Yeah, I try not to think about it personally, although obviously it's very gratifying, and I'm certainly grateful to Adam for the opportunity. But I think it speaks volumes to what the work that my team has been doing, to the commitment that we have at the NBA to social responsibility, to being leaders in our communities, to making sure that our teams and our players and our employees, frankly, have as many opportunities as possible to give back in meaningful ways. And so I think it really reflected more of that than on me personally, but it's certainly gratifying.
With your department right now, what are some of the current initiatives with social responsibility throughout the league?
Well, we've just had an extraordinary year so far in really focusing on All-Star. There's nothing better than having All-Star here in New York City. And one of the things that we've been most proud of is that really from the very beginning of the school year, we have been out in every borough, in literally hundreds and hundreds of schools, doing events, creating opportunities for kids to engage in fun, fitness-related basketball activities. When all is said and done, we're going to have reached 1 million kids through basketball with this All-Star game, and to me, that's been the most exciting part of it. It's just been it's been a whirlwind, and you know, when we look back to when we launched in September with the mayor and the commissioner, to now be here at All-Star, it's gone quickly, but it's been a lot of events, and I think the kids of New York City have really enjoyed the experiences that they've had.
When you look at the league and the WNBA incorporated in that as well, how is this an example? how sports can elicit social change.
There's no question about that. I think one of the things that we have always believed in at the NBA is that we have a platform and a responsibility with that platform to do good and to make sure that we're shining the light on important issues, that we're not afraid to talk about issues that matter to our communities, but also that we're doing something about it. We're very action-oriented when it comes to reaching kids. It's not just about teaching them the skills of basketball, it's teaching them the values of basketball. It's also about making sure that kids understand how important it is to be active, to eat healthy. Those are the messages that we're sharing with kids all over the world, frankly. And so we know that we've got a platform, and we take it very seriously that we can make a difference with that platform.
You know, just talking about more women in the league, we also see referees, Violet Palmer, Laura Holtkamp, running up and down the court every night in different cities. How is that another example of how the league thinks and how you can get that visual, not watching the WNBA, but watching the NBA at night?
Well, I think it just proves that there are a lot of opportunities. There are coaching opportunities, there are opportunities to referee, there are opportunities in the league office, there are opportunities at the teams, there are broadcast opportunities. I mean, we have great women in positions of power, but also positions of great fun, and so, you know, to me, when I look at it on the whole, again, it's just about what are the opportunities. When you look at the game of basketball, you can see yourself doing any number of things, and that's what you want to do when you're trying to kind of demonstrate to young kids that you know, they can do anything they want, and here's proof of that.
Would it be right to say, and you have so much contact with young kids throughout the world, but when you look at the NBA as a league, is it a pioneer for women?
I think so. We're very proud of what we've done here at the league, but we're just as proud of what the NBA does with the WNBA. To me, you know, the W is still such a great story, and so many opportunities for women to continue to play professionally. That's rare. Not every sport has that, and so the commitment that we've made to the WNBA and the growth of the WNBA, I think, is something that is still to be kind of applauded and not taken for granted, because we're still trying to grow that business and still trying to grow those fans and make sure that the W connects with girls and sports fans and basketball fans of all ages, and I think it does that.
What are some goals right now in the growth of the WNBA to continue that?
Well, it just is that. How do you grow your fans? And so one of the things that we really try to do with the WNBA, same with the NBA, is to teach the game at a young level, to make sure that kids have access to good coaching. We have a great program with USA Basketball to make sure that coaches and kids are well taught, and that the fundamentals are there, that the values of the game are taught, that kids have a safe place to go to learn the game. When you play the game at a young age, chances are you're going to be engaged in it in some way through the rest of your life, and it will really stay with you. So it's really about growing the game at the grassroots level, but also then making sure that you know, we're growing the fan base for the women who are playing it today.
How many years now has the NBA been using these initiatives to, whether it was NBA Cares or getting into the kids in the community? How long has that?
It's really been something we've done since the beginning of time. I mean, one of the great things about our league as well is that we work with a lot of our former players. And so when you talk to Bill Russell about some of the things that he did back in the 60s when he was a member of the Boston Celtics, and you can't help but marvel at those moments that he had to help shape the civil rights movement. I mean, he was right in there along with some of our other players and pioneers. So I think it's really been something that goes back to the very earliest days of the NBA. And so we always talk about the legacy that we're trying to build of the former players who've paved the way for these younger players and this younger generation, and they understand that too. That's why All-Star Weekend is also a great way to kind of connect the past and our present.
And how do you see that with the generations as they pass through the league, and your current players become former players? You have 19-year-olds playing in the league right now. How different is it with just the way they view diversity and racial and gender issues?
You know, they obviously see it through a different lens because the times have changed, but at the same time, some things haven't changed. And so we have a program that we do, frankly, right now with our current players called My Brother's Keeper. We're working with the White House and other organizations to make sure that our players are fully engaged in creating mentoring opportunities, encouraging young boys and men of color to take advantage of their educational opportunities. So we're always trying to make sure that our guys are engaged in the issues that are important right now. But part of that too is to make sure they understand, what the history is, and the history of the NBA, and frankly the history of the United States or wherever they're from. It all comes together, and it's all part of the education that we have to help our players be the best they can be on the court and off.
Just hearing all that you're involved in and the group that you lead, what is your advice to women that maybe are still struggling, maybe in a job situation with gender issues, reach challenges? What is your advice to them?
Well, I'd say my advice is twofold. One is, I always tell people that there's no such thing as a straight path. And so people who say, well, I really want to get into this area or that area, you have to try different things. I never thought I would be in sports, but here I am. And so I think the other advice is to just always be true to yourself and always be true to who you are. And don't try to be something that you're not. You can succeed in this business, in any business, if you have passion for it, if you're committed and dedicated and you work hard, the opportunities are going to be there for you.